words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Dear family and friends, we're so glad you came to share some memories of Jerry with us. He often called me Little Sis, and I would call him Big Bro. Many of my earliest memories of him included family gatherings at the Sackett Ranch, where we had a picnic lunch weekly. Some of you attended those. On Sundays, if the weather permitted, and a lunch in the house when it was cool or rainy. On many occasions, we kids loved to go to the water tower to see if we could catch a flicker, also known as a yellowhammer, as they would go to their holes at night with their bodies facing in. My son-in-law asked me on 11/12, the day after Jerry's passing, to relate some stories about Jerry. And so this story about the water tower was one of the first that came to my mind. So here we all were trying to catch that first bird, because if you caught the first bird, it was going to be noisy right up there. And we sneak around in the water tower, and all of us bouncing on the rafters to try to get to the hole where the bird was. And then you grab it from the back and put it in the canary cage downstairs, and then Grandma would say at the end of the dinner time that we would have to let the bird go. My brother takes that a step further by saying, or Grandpa would have killed it, because he didn't like those holes in his water tower. So I also remember riding double with Jerry on Smokey the horse, sometimes even bareback. And he'd warn me, hold on real tight, little sis, because we're going to fly now. My eyes would always pop out of my head, and I'd grab him as tightly as I could for the galloping part. Oh my, that was fun. It helped that he was 7 years older, and he pretty much was an expert on anything related to the animals on the property. When he was old enough to drive, he'd fly again on the decrepit one-lane dirt road with the wobbly wooden bridges. This aside would make me think of Jeff Foxworthy, the comedian. He would say, if directions to your house include turning right on the one-lane dirt road, you might be a redneck. Always thought that one was funny. That was pretty much the description of our road to our ranch. Our neighbor and relative, Hugh Goddard, once asked my grandpa to tell us all to not to drive so fast, as we were getting dust all over the fruit trees. Once Jerry was driving the old 1930-ish Model A Ford and going a bit too fast on the hill towards the main road. He wrecked that old car and made everyone sad. But he had passengers, and thankfully he was the only one injured. He broke his arm in that one. But his daredevil aspect served him well in so many areas. He'd be the first to jump off the tire swing into the Peter Creek, the first to dive off the black rocks in the cannonball on Peter Creek, the first to flip off the tower at Crowder's swimming pool near Madison, and the one you didn't want to kick the can because it was going to go way down from where you were on First Street. So a hero worship can develop for a guy like this. My favorite town memories and winters come from the years 1952 and 53, right after Jerry and Angie got married. They bought a house strict trailer and pulled it into our side yard and lived there for over a year. Kathy, their daughter, came along on 3/9/53. I still recall vividly the night that Angie came into our house asking if we had any aspirin, as she had a backache. My mom looked at her quizzically and said, Angie, you're in labor. She was right. Off they went to the hospital, and Kathy was born within hours. I was so excited knowing we would have this little infant next door, as well as my little sister Eva in our home, who was only 18 months old at the time. There was quite a span, as you can tell, in our family history. They were both so cute, these two. These were delightful days for this 11-year-old who loved baby dolls. I also love the days when Jerry would play in Dad's small dance band orchestra, especially if they were somewhere local and I could go and listen. This happened more than once at the Buckeye Lodge on First Street. Jerry could blow a mean clarinet, sax, and both all alto and tenor, and he'd improvise on Dad's perfectly inscribed notes of the latest hit songs. The latest and also enjoyable memories come from dining together with John, Jerry, and Eileen. John's my husband, by the way. We visited them frequently in San Clemente and also met them at places like Dana Point and Laguna Beach. Then at times they'd hop in that hot red Mercedes sports car of hers and come up to visit us in Long Beach, where we'd eat at our home or go out as well. Jerry Big Bro, I'm so glad you had all these wonderful women in your life who gave you so much love and life in your last 66 years. To close, I'd like to say a big thank you to Kathy and Bill Beasley. Kathy and Bill and Warren have all worked so hard with getting things, in order for the house and stuff. All through the years that he's been up there, there have been people helping him too. And I'd like to thank the Connors family, Kevin and their neighbor also, Marlene Matsui. You were all there when Jerry needed help, and I send blessings to all of you. We will miss this man so much, although I'm already seeing spiritual signs. When we drove off of the property today, Jerry's property, we saw 2 yellow hammers fly off right in front of us. They were a different version, actually, more like the flickers. They have the orange wings, though. You probably see them. They're just like a woodpecker and make the holes. And then we saw a 4-pointer and a red-tailed hawk went over the road. And we get to church and there's a hummingbird in the tree. And I just can't help thinking that all these are spiritual signs of Jerry, and he's telling us I'm fine.